Honorable Minister, Chairman Dalbir Singh, Convener Harjeev Singh, dignitaries on the dais, and I'm told delegates here from 25 different countries. It's indeed an honor to be your keynote speaker this morning. So first of all, I bring to you greetings from Republican Hindu Coalition that played a major role, a significant role in transforming this world, because not very many people were expecting Donald Trump to win the presidency. I also bring you greetings from Indian American Advisory Council to President Trump, and also Indian American Advisory Council to House Republican Conference that I chair. So I know the purpose of this particular conference is to talk about the knowledge economy, but I'm sure most of you, as has been the case since November 8th, and I probably have appeared on well over 100 interviews on various different channels in India, Indian American media, as well as the American media. You all want to know what is President Trump up to? Because that is a question that always gets asked of me. What is this president up to? Because media tries to latch on to every word he speaks or every single conversation he has, every tweet there is, anyone within his inner circle speaks one word, and people go out and try to interpret that as to what he really means. So for that, I have a simple advice to all listeners here and across the world. Carefully listen to his campaign speeches, his message on a consistent basis. When it comes to the relationship between US and India, I give you a very simple formula, because I'm an engineer, so I'll talk about formulas. What to read into what is coming. So you can go to, I'll be remiss if I didn't push that here, www.rsc-usa.org. That is the RHC website. There you will find what, at that time, candidate Trump spoke on October 15th in Addison, New Jersey, and what he talked about Hindus, what he talked about Indians, what he talked about relationship between US and India, what he talked about cross-border terrorism, what he talked about Prime Minister Modi, and just pay attention to every single word he has spoken, and you will know what is coming next. Because we have in President Trump a businessman, a CEO, not your traditional politician. I have been in the United States for the last 48 years, and I've seen in that time frame, how many? 12 presidential elections. mostly all politicians, and you never expect a politician, president, to do what he or she promises during a campaign. So people get amazed when Trump comes in and he does exactly what he promised during his campaign. And all the executive orders which passed at a lightning speed in 2 weeks of his administration, people are amazed at how quickly he implemented what he promised, and as if the people were wondering or actually not believing that he will do what he promised. One of the things he promised is he's going to build a wall and Mexico will pay for it. And with his great Twitter diplomacy, he started that process. He promised that we don't, in his speeches, many times he mentioned, that we don't win anymore. That is, United States doesn't win anymore. Now, sitting here in Delhi and many other places in the world, you will wonder, why would candidate Trump say that we don't win anymore? And he is going to change the policies in the administration, in the country, to make America great again. So what is it that we don't win anymore? After deep recession in 2008, you have an anemic growth of 1.2%. Typically, after a recession like this, your growth should be 4 to 5%. So GDP growth, 1.2%. We don't win anymore. We draw red lines in Syria and then ignore them. They don't pay any attention. We don't win. We go out and give $150 billion to Iran so that they don't develop nuclear weapons. Is that winning? Not winning. And then we have corporate and personal tax rate in the country, which is the highest among industrialized nations. He promised during the campaign that within the first 90 days, he is going to move to reduce the tax rate from the highest to the lowest in the industrialized world. We're looking at somewhere between 15 to 20% tax rate. So whether it comes to domestic prosperity, GDP, and yes, another thing which I talked about, I failed to mention, debt. You see, the world needs a very strong America to lead. And what had happened to United States, to US, in the last 8 years, it accumulated a debt more than what it took from the inception of US in 1776 to 2008. The amount of debt the country accumulated, that doubled in the next 8 years. Mind that that debt included the Revolutionary War, Civil War, First World War, Second World War, Korean War, Vietnam War, first the Iraq War, Afghan War. So all these wars accumulated. In 2008, the national debt was a certain amount, and that doubled in the last 8 years. So what the actions the Trump administration is doing is negating all those policies which made United States become a debtor nation, owe a lot of money to China, and get its manufacturing sector essentially moved to China, and China become the manufacturing country, manufacturing capital of the world. So that's what President Trump administration is moving to stop, to reduce. Now, with respect to U.S.-India relations, once again, you look at his speech on October 15th, what did he say? U.S. and India will be best friends. We love Hindus, we love India. He, in fact, modified his language. They will be better friends. No, he said, might as well say, we will be best friends. And he said to the Hindu American community and Indian American community that you will have a best friend in the White House. He talked about cross-border terrorism. Every word was very carefully measured. We know what we are talking about when we're talking about cross-border terrorism. And he talked about the Mumbai terror attack. He also talked about fiscal discipline. One of the things which is, again, internal, somewhat affects U.S.-India relations as well. President Trump is a businessman, not stuck to the old principles of doing business. You remember the tweet he made about the Air Force One? Cancel that order, because Air Force was proposing to build the Air Force One that would have cost $4 billion. So just by one tweet, cancel that order, he reduced at least the cost by 20%. Again, he's a businessman. And in terms of dealing with the rest of the world, as well as India, another piece of advice I will give you, every one of you should go out and get the book, Art of the Deal. If you get that book, read that thoroughly, you will understand where President Trump comes from and how he will deal with the rest of the nations, how he'll deal with Russia, how he'll deal with India. Now, he does have core beliefs. President Trump had very pleasant experience in doing business in India. So he just naturally thinks of India as a very friendly country. Is also impacted by his children, who, by the way, are fairly close to the Kumar family. They were influenced going through their colleges, respective colleges, and having friends with Indian Americans who got influenced, or who are very influential in the Trump administration. So that is another base core element that makes Trump to be very India-friendly. Very clearly, he sees China as a threat, who is sitting with a lot of money from United States, as well as having taken away the manufacturing from U.S. In fact, what is happening in U.S. is hard to find tool makers because very little manufacturing left. So no point in developing tool makers. That affects the security of the country, military as well. So lots of moves are going to be made that bring manufacturing back into United States. And also, geopolitically, because we have this China threat, and we have a relationship developing, even getting stronger between China and Pakistan. And Pakistan, like one of our famous congressmen, Ted Poe, Judge Poe we call him, he always says that Pakistan is the Benedict Arnold, For some of you who do not know who Benedict Arnold, he was considered to be one of the biggest traitors in the American history. So Judge Poe, Congressman Poe always describes Pakistan as the Benedict Arnold of U.S.-Pakistan relationship. So there is a threat there. So overall policy, geopolitically, it obviously makes a lot of sense for United States to have a very close partnership with India, including shifting or at least developing India as a second source in terms of manufacturing. Our goal as Republican Hindu Coalition, as Indian American Advisory Council to President Trump, is to increase the trade between U.S. and India, which is sitting at $100 billion a year right now. For the size of our economy, that's too small. We want to increase that trade to $300 billion per year in the first 4 years, and put it on a trajectory to make it to $1 trillion a year. See, it's going to be exponential growth because initially there will be a lot of inertia. So to move it to be on the trajectory for $1 trillion a year at the end of the second term of President Trump, that is our goal. And a lot of economists just talk numbers. But here we have very specific plans. On the defense side, on energy side, on advanced manufacturing side, India needs a lot of American products, defense systems, energy, manufacturing equipment, but some of it, particularly defense and energy, India is barred, or American companies that put it this way, are barred from selling to India because the legislation has not caught up to the reality. Soviet Union is gone, but American legislation still is living as if it was 80s, and India is the red state. That is, it's in the Soviet column. So there is a lot of legislation which is out there which prevents the defense trade, Everybody knows India needs a lot of upgrade in its military, and that will happen when when Congress changes the laws and a president who is willing to sign on to the new law. Our party, Republican Party, Republican Congress has always been willing to change the law, but haven't pushed it because there was a threat of veto. So, however, now with this new president, the day Congress passes the law to remove these artificial barriers to increase of trade between U.S. and India, President Trump will sign that order or that law, make that into a law the very same day. So you could expect the trade to increase in a very significant way. Let me also address the issue of IT industry, because there is a significant amount of concern on the part of IT industry. There's a lot of talk which is happening on green cards, on H-1B visas, and so forth. All I have to tell you, I want to tell you and tell the listeners everywhere, be patient. And then once again, listen to his campaign speeches. H-1B visa holders is the purview of the American Congress. So nothing is happening to that through executive orders. The only thing which is going to happen through executive orders is enforcement of the current laws, as there is some amount of, not a whole lot, but some amount of abuse and fraud in the H-1 system. That will be tightened up. On the other hand, there is another problem which people don't talk about. The H-1 visa holders in the United States, and there is a lot of them, almost 1 million, more than 1 million. Those people whose green cards have been approved have to wait as many as 50 years, 50. It's not 5, 50 or not 15, 50 years to get your green card. It's almost after you're going to die, you get your green card. That system is going to change in fairly short order. So there is a lot of fear-mongering also taking place in U.S. In fact, in our WhatsApp group, many times we get messages that the DHS agents are at certain grocery stores like Patel Brothers, where they are checking everybody's documents, and if you're not there, documents, you don't have them on the spot, they're going to put you in the buses and ship you back to India, even the people who are U.S. citizens or green card holders. It's all fear-mongering and rumors started by some unscrupulous attorneys who just want to make money, have people run to them. So on the H-1 visa program, there is not much concern we should have. I know I get asked a lot of these questions in a lot of these interviews, so I will make myself available through Harjeev to answer any questions any specific industry people here might have. One of our mission, my mission, is to increase the trade between US and India once again to 300 billion in the next 4 years. So in conclusion, what are we looking at in time to come? Back in March of 2013, 14 months before Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister of the country, our organization called Narendra Modi to be Ronald Reagan of India and ended his diplomatic isolation from US by bringing in a very high-level delegation to visit him in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar. So we have a Ronald Reagan of India, and now we have in Trump a Reagan on steroids. So that is what you have. One Ronald Reagan of India, the other one a Reagan on steroids, and you can imagine what is going to happen. Operating philosophies of both these leaders are very, very common. Minimum government, maximum governance. Reagan always considered, and with a little bit of humility, I must say, to the honorable minister here, President Reagan always considered government to be evil. The government is always troublemaker. United States was founded on a principle of no government, very little government. And so with that, you can imagine with a Reagan on steroids, what is going to happen. Thank you for having me here. I conclude my remarks by saying that we have a great future between US and India. Trump will be the president, most Indian American friendly president in the history of the United States. Thank you very much.